Welcome to Teen ypww. Lesson 13. I do not own the rights to this music. Today's topic is embracing times of nothingness and nurturing. The lesson text is coming out of Philippians chapter 4 and Hebrews chapter 12. The memory verse. I will read the King James Version first and the New International Version of Philippians chapter 4 verse 11. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. The New International Version of Philippians chapter 4, verse 11. I am not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. The key for today's lesson: you can't hurry God. You just have to wait. The focus for today's lesson: be content and run their race at the same time. There were times when I was a teen that I was inundated with thoughts of being bored. My life was so seemingly full of nothingness. While living at my parents' home, I would think, I can't wait to be grown. I had a wonderful childhood in a nurturing environment. However, the thought of being on my own seemed very exciting. In reality, the irony of my thoughts was there was plenty of events going on in my life during those years. I just didn't appreciate the value of the precious commodity of quiet, or by my interpretation during my younger days, nothingness. In Philippians chapter 4, verses 11 through 13, the Apostle Paul advises us to be content in whatever state we find ourselves in. He declares, not that I speak in regard to need, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am to be content. I know how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things, I have learned both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Paul wrote this series of lessons in Scripture to challenge us to run our destined race and to achieve and believe for our futures. That's Hebrews 12, verse 1. So here is the challenge to you teens. Can you be content about where you are right now, yet still run after your future? Can you have and live with these two opposite realities, the right now and the future? The answer is yes. Of course you can. You can do all things through Him who gives you strength. And that's Philippians 4, verse 13. Being bored is a state of mind which you have the power to change. Just because you cannot be involved in all the activities that you desire does not mean that there is nothing to do. How about cleaning up your room? Just kidding. I know that there are some of you reading this lesson and listening to this lesson who keep a very clean room. However, for the rest of us, let's start there. Numerous activities exist in which you can participate and which can strengthen you for your future. I call these activities quiet, meaningful events. They are quiet events because their value is so subtle that the time spent participating in these events seems to pass by quietly and slowly. It may even seem that while participating in these quiet events, nothing is happening. Why? Because these events are so not what you want to do. Therefore, you can be involved actively in quiet, meaningful activities and still be bored. The challenge of this chapter is for you to understand and change this mindset of always being bored and appreciate those moments. Something interesting is always going on in your life. You must embrace the current events in your life and call them interesting. Strive to give meaning and valued purpose to everything that you need to accomplish. God uses all of the events in our lives to teach us valuable principles that will one day prove to be priceless in our lives. Mastering the mundane and the boring builds your character, perseverance, and maturity. Instead of worrying about being on the fast track of becoming an adult, give new value to the boring things that you are required to do. This radical reversal of ideology will change your thoughts. Begin by calling those things that are boring, valuable, and interesting. Instead, here's an exercise that I would like for you to do that will help you begin this process of reevaluating values. A new perspective. Boring and mundane versus radically reevaluated. Boring and mundane, cleaning up my bedroom. It is a wonderful feeling. This is the radically evaluated or re-evaluated. It is a wonderful feeling coming into a clean room. I love being able to find all my things without having to wonder where I put my book, my papers, or my favorite pair of shoes. When I'm in my clean room, I smile because I have worked so hard to put things in order. Doing my chores. As boring and mundane. The radically reevaluated version or perspective is, I like it when my parents appreciate my efforts to help the business of the house run smoothly. I take great pride in doing my chores with precision and exactness. Clothes neatly folded and put away, and dishes washed, dried, and put away. I'm the best floor sweeper in my family. Doing my homework or completing my homework, you are to fill in a radically re-evaluated new perspective for this one on your own. The questions for today's lesson. Number 1, why is it important that we value the times that we consider to be boring? The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.